They are on the visitors' bench. Punishers, this is their first game that we're seeing them. They get a bye through to the final. Vicious Alpacas had to go through the throwbacks to get here earlier this afternoon. However, Punishers going 3-1 in the round robin. Their only loss was to this Alpaca team. Alpacas start with the ball, keeping it outside for a big shot. Down in deep, Nick Sider brings it down the far side. Brian Zolga stops it right at center. Keith Dale. Turnover there by the Alpacas, looking to spring for a breakaway. Kept at the line though. Mike Martin takes a shot off the backboards. Goes over to the half boards. Keeping it in behind Cal Christoph. Gets the start for the Alpacas, and we're going to have a quick tripping call here for the Punishers as the Alpaca player Justin Dykstra dropped right at center floor.
Yeah, it's an interesting path through the round robin for both of these teams. Vicious Alpacas actually got off to a tough start in the tournament. They were down 0-2 in their record, and then they came back with 2 straight wins, got into the semifinal, upset the throwbacks, or beat the throwbacks, depending on how you want to see it, as the throwbacks had beat them yesterday.
Short-handed opportunity here, and then going over top of the goaltender. No harm there, I think. Grant Patton just ran out of space as he came in on the short-handed break. None of the Alpaca teams nor Cal Christoph took exception anyway, so we continue. There's a shot from Christoph, a nice pad save from the point shot. That goes up over the cage and out of play.
It's John Rorson with the shot from the point there. That's what they're going to want to set up a lot. He has a heavy shot. The Punishers are going to look to feed it back to him.
John Rorson assisting on both goals. Punishers scored in that 3-2 victory for the Alpacas in the round robin. As they go down in the corner, do the Alpacas. Punishers able to keep it in here. Spinning around, Grant Patton still providing the forecheck. It's going to be brought up by Jesse Barbas. Far side for Mike Schramm. Schramm in the corner. Mike Barbas now takes it off the half boards, and it comes up to the blue line where Grant Patton lifts it down in the corner, giving chase Chris Wilkes. Wilkes and Dan Guthrow, they do battle in on the boards, and it's Mike Barbas comes away with it at the blue line. Gains the zone. And right in on the half boards where the cage starts. Dug out by the Punishers and airmailed back down the floor. Adam Fortin, the first man there. They kicked ahead by Mike Martin of the Punishers, but the first man there is Jesse Susi. And another huge outside shot from the Punishers. Brought up on the near side, Jesse Barbas. Mike Martin brings it in for the Punishers. Working over to the far side now. As it's turned over, and Justin Dable brings it up over the line. Punishers with the turnover though, as Keith Dale, he tries a shot and it goes off the cage and down. Back to even strength on the floor as we're under 7 minutes to play. That pass in behind Susi. So it's going to be Brian Zolga working back to start the counterattack for the Punishers here. Working in is Nick Sider. I believe he was trying to get it over for Mike Martin. And the Alpacas all over that. So the Alpacas trying to work out. Stolen by Punishers though. Mike Martin shot partial screen there for Christoph. Sees it and able to make the save.
Yeah, the Punishers roster this tournament is a bit different than some of the than the roster you would have seen a few of the other tournaments. They actually picked up a few extra Niagara North Stars who've begun playing on the team. So you'll see some of the green North Star shorts. Those are the guys, they play out of the Niagara Falls as a competitive travel team as well.
Here is one of them, Keith Dale, working down into the corner. Stolen away though, Jesse Susi. Start the counterattack by the Alpacas. Trying to get around Ryan Chadwick. A backhand shot, a quick one there. Dropping down was Dennis Ray. And Ray makes his toughest stop of the contest so far.
Birthday boy Dennis Ray today. Celebrating the birthday in the finals of the intermediate. Not too bad.
Jesse Susi up over center. Susi on the half boards. Ryan Chadwick will keep him to the outside. Susi goes up. It's Dan Guthrow. Point shot was taken away, so he just dumps it into the corner. No one home there. Punishers do pick up. It's lifted into the corner and to allow the last couple Punishers to change up as we reach the halfway mark of the opening period. Off the boards. Looking this. I believe that's Justin Dykstrom out in front. A couple extra waxes raised down. And Ray hangs on and forced the face off to his left. Playing for the face-off, comes up top. There's a shot that doesn't miss by a whole lot from up top. I believe Mike Croto taking that one. Dragged off the boards by Garrett Russell. He spins and fires. And that's over along the boards. Punishers, the first players there in the corner. Looking for an outlet. They find it right in front of us in the form of Mark Sexsmith. Down low for John Rarden. Ball gets in and Christoph makes that save. 4 minutes to play now in the opening period. Walking out of the corner, still with it. What patience there from Mark Sexsmith, and great save from Christoph, matching him all the way to his right.
Christoph's keeping up his good play that he had in the semifinal earlier today. He really took everything away from the throwbacks as moving the ball quite well and getting shots on, but very limited rebounds, very good ball control. It seems to be doing the same thing here to start off the game.
Been some pretty good goaltending performances. Matt Kane for the Ringers in the Barn division we saw as well. Shutout in the semis and just one goal in that final.
He was a huge difference in the final in that Barn division. A lot of glove saves, probably 4 or 5 memorable glove saves in that game.
Christoph watches this one sail wide into the corner. They continue to battle for it down in the corner. It comes all the way up top though. Keith Dale is there. Christoph trying the poke check just to keep it to the outside. Mike Barbas rather. Looking to chip it off the boards and up to spring Mike Schramm. It's going to be up through the middle. On the stick of Brian Zolga, in good position again for Christoph. Face-off will come to the left. North Cal Christoph here with 3:27 to play. Game still awaiting the opening goal. Again, the last time these teams played in the round robin was an Alpaca victory, 3-2. Comes Jesse Barbas running under this into the corner. gets there first with a couple punishers spying him. That one chipped, I believe, off the stick of Mike Martin. Goes up over Dennis Ray. And the counterattack for the punishers, Keith Dale. They leave for Brian Zolga, his heavy outside shot, saved by Christoph. Keith Dale gets there, and it's chipped into the corner. Jesse Barbas. Nobody on this side to keep it in, so it goes the length of the floor for an icing.
It's interesting to see, if you look at Jesse Barbas' shorts, he's actually wearing the Team Greece shorts that he wore. I guess that was 2 weeks ago now, maybe 3 weeks ago at Worlds. That was over in the Czech Republic. The Barbas boys who were playing in this all played for Team Greece.
Confusion here after the icing, no change.
No change on ice. It looks like the punishers thought that there was some advantage gained by the Alpacas. Alpacas did not agree.
Cal Christoph was trying to smother that right on the side of the net, couldn't do it, so play continues. Looks like it's going to be no harm there as Jesse Susi stood up at the red line, and it Punisher player stood him up, and Jesse Susi fell, and we're going to have a interference penalty, I think, here on the Punisher.
Yeah, those ones are always tough because I completely understand Nick Sider's point of view there, that he's playing the ball, he stepped up, he got stick on ball, but at the end of the day, it's a non-contact game. It's a non-contact game, and the refs are sensitive to especially the open floor, open ice collision.
Punishers work it through the center. And they do dump it down to kill first little bit. So for most of the rest of this period, as we're 2:01 remaining, the Alpacas will have a power play looking for the opening goal here. Dennis Ray has made some pretty good stops in this first period, as has Cal Christoph. As the Punishers got lost in the feet of Grant Patton momentarily, kept in at the line though. Mike Proto kept down low, out in front, the shot, and it's through the 5-hole, and that's Garrett Russell.
Looked like he just opened up that 5-hole just a little bit. I think, Garrett's got some really good hands, and looked like he gave a little head fake. I thought he was going backhand, and I think that's what Dennis saw as well, thinking that he might get a little dangle there. Opened up the 5-hole, and Garrett just buried that. There wasn't much there, but just that little head fake seemed to open it up just a little bit. Garrett and Dennis are two guys who know each other very well. They've played together, against each other many times. They're both Wellend boys.
Garrett Russell did have the opening goal for the Alpacas in the last minute of the first period when they played the Punishers in round robin. That time it made the score 1-1. This time 1-0 for Garrett Russell. Comes on the power play. Here's Russell with it again. Takes it over to the far hash marks. Stops in front of the Punishers bench. Spins and sends it back behind the net. In on the board, Mike Martin. He's got it and has to deal with Mike Croto though. But back for Justin Dykstra. Out in front, Keith Dale. Stolen away by Dan Guthrow. Guthrow's going to send it up the boards for Brian Wrighton. And we're in the final 45 seconds here. As Ryan Chadwick will take it. On the near side, they return it back. Punishers making a change. Here's the outside shot from John Rorson. Over to the half boards, Chadwick. Come all the way down to the blue line, takes the shot. 30 seconds now as Jesse Barbas comes over. Comes Barbas up through the middle. Defense closing in, lifts it up off the face mask, I believe, of Dennis Ray, who went down to make that save. Nice job by the defense to push him over there, and good job by Barbas, even better job by Ray. Final 10 seconds here for the Punishers. Can they get one last shot away? Working off the boards. It is Rorison. Rorison's just going to wrist one, and for good measure gets it caught in the top of the cage.
That's a good block by Schramm to finish that first period off. You never know when Rorison gets a shot away. Anywhere he is on the floor, even some people who may be new to the BHI game or the outdoor ball hockey game, as you saw, he crossed his own blue line. The back blue line is icing, and you may be saying, well, is he wasting a shot just putting that down there? No, his shot is that hard. It moves a lot. It's going to give the goalie trouble. If he has a forward who's running, you're going to play that rebound. It's a good play. Try and get it off the pads, force the goalie to kick it out, and you might have a nice little tap in. So it's definitely a play you'll see a lot in the outdoor ball hockey game.
Last weekend, the Jumpstart Jammer in the youth division. This weekend, the adult division. I believe our next broadcast on JVI and BHI comes your way August the 8th. That tournament coming up. Yes, Chad?
It is. That is the weekend of champs for our youth All-Ontario Cup. So the winners and second place finishers from our youth divisions through from our preliminary ball hockey tournaments, youth All-Ontario Cup tournaments this year, will be meeting up for the culminating tournament prize.
Again, that comes your way the weekend of August 8th.
And that will be at BHI Brantford.
And we will have those games for you. Of course, visit ballhockeyinternational.ca, jvisportsnetwork.com for more info on the tournament and for our broadcast schedule as that tournament approaches. Teams have switched sides here for this second period. Still just the one goal in that opener from Garrett Russell on the power play. Gives a 1-0 lead to the Vicious Alpacas. 2-on-nobody coming in, and Jesse Susi gets the shot. Dennis Ray the save as he goes to the right pad. Wheeling around the side, though, Chris Williams comes in and another save, this time from the glove.
Has a big kick save. Big kick save by Dennis as Susi tried to, looks like he tried to pull it back over to his forehand and tuck it in, and Dennis just kicked that out with some pretty good authority, actually. It's like he knew it was coming.
Face off won by the Alpacas here. Now he makes the save with the blade of the stick. Sends it up over the cage, out of play. And I guess they're going to say that went straight out as the face-off comes outside the blue line here.
Interesting. That one did get off of the shaft of Dennis's stick, but looks like neither official really caught that.
Susi's shot goes in and is blocked, and the Punishers regain possession. Take it up the floor. Jesse Susi had thoughts of another breakaway.
I can speak from experience. He's fast.
Susi trying to go up and over now the block of the defender, but Nick Sider catches up to that ball, and Susi not sure about that modified hip check, I guess. And here comes Grant Patton. His shot works into the corner, giving chase Mark Sexsmith. Back up the middle, kept in by Sider. He lifts the shot just over the glove and slightly wide. It goes back into the corner. Sexsmith there again. This one's going to be lifted up into the cage. Brian Zolga comes up again for Sider before rattling around the boards out in front of the Punisher zone from the face-off dot on the far side. Backing up was Patton. Comes Sider again. A lot of hard outside shots. So far, none of them able to find the mark. Comes over, Sider chops at it. That sends it skyward out of the reach of Susi. And the ball arrives on scene in front of the Alpaca bench just at the wrong time as they're making a change.
Yeah. It seemed like there was a big mash of people there, mash of bodies. Ball hit the player as he was still on the floor. Saw the close official to us did signal too many men, but it looks like they're going to talk about it as the official who's closer to the actual change may have seen something a little different.
Well, and with that many bodies too, it is hard to pick out who's coming off, who's going on, who's staying on.
It is. And it's a bang bang call. You really have to try and count. You have to make sure that it doesn't just look bad, but it actually there are too many, and you got to call it immediately. Yeah, yeah.
But if it hits a guy when his replacement is on the floor or before his replacement's gone off, then that's
in this case it looked like the player who's going off. It was him that it hit while his replacement was already on the floor. So we'll see what Punishers do with the setup of their power play here. They have a lot of guys who can move that ball around. They like to set up a man high in the slot and get that one-timer. They'll try and create a 2-on-1 on a defender, and that's when they take their chances once they feel that they've isolated a defender.
Well, they've got three big defenders back, Brian Wright and Dan Guthrow and Mike Croto. And it looks like Wrighton's the guy that's going to go up for the Alpacas. Pop back a little bit here, though, as Rorson doesn't take the shot, works it into the corner. Comes back up top. Again, they don't look for the shot, as it does come from the top of the face-off circle and rolls away from Brian Zolga. Dennis Ray's got to come out of the net. Comes up from Zolga, takes the way outside shot. Comes back up to the point. Spinning through that one. And the rebound as they come down. Someone swiped at the initial shot. Not sure if it was Mike Croto or Cal Christoph, but the Alpacas weren't able to clear and resulted in a second opportunity.
I'm not sure if it was deliberately done, if Zolga was trying to put that on net, but his hard dump into the far side corner was great on the power play. He enabled his winger to get in there, pick up the loose ball, and that set up that whole play. The whole offensive zone time was all created from that hard dump into the far side corner.
2 goals in this game now, both of them coming on the power play. We're tied 1 apiece. Again, their round robin game was a tight matchup as well, 3-2.
Coming in, 40, coming in right here.
The winner coming with minute 58 left on the clock. Here's a shot from the Punishers that goes off the pipe. Brian Wrighton got through the defense and couldn't settle it down, and neither could Garrett Russell as he came down the far side trailing. Punishers touch up. Negate the offside call. Brian Solga, this one in behind Christoph, bounced off his back foot, but it just rolled across the goal line after going off the top of the cage. Here comes Zolga again. He takes a shot from the hash marks. Comes back up to the point. They can't get it around Russell. So there's Ryan Chadwick on that shot. Chadwick comes into forecheck now as they switch up. Adam Fortin. He looks for Croto. Fortin again in the corner, has a quick look. Croto again as the Alpacas go for a line change.
Middle.
Croto, call him to go up the middle. They do, and Ray goes right in on him, made the save, as does Christoph. Both goaltenders had thoughts of holding on for face-offs, but they both keep the play alive, and we're approaching the halfway mark of this period and this match. Far side they come back, and it won't settle down again for Keith Dale, so he can let one go. Ryan Chadwick has to chase into the corner. Mike Croto there, as is Mike Barbas. Barbas has Mike Schramm with him. Now Mike Barbas gets it back. Mike and Jesse Barbas looking for the cycle, but they lose it to Grant Patton, who works in. 5-hole was open, closes quickly on Kristoff, and another great save by Cal Kristoff.
From our angle here, I thought that was, I don't know how he stopped that. He must have just got a toe, because I think that went pretty far back into those pads.
5-hole definitely was open and looked like a little late getting down in the butterfly too, but
yeah, we got to watch out. It looks like Mike Martin's heating up for the Punishers. Scored the goal, hit the post right after the shot, and then set up Keith Dale in a nice little play. So let's see if he starts getting hot. He can see the floor well.
play goes into the corner. Worked out Chris Wilkes. And heads up on the Punisher bench as that one goes into the backboards behind them. 4:18 now in the second period.
Both teams really seem to be feeling each other out. Neither team wants to take too big of a chance because they're both loaded with offense. So that's the gamble, especially at this this caliber of ball hockey. You don't want to make that mistake because it can really be in the back of your net quickly.
Comes Jesse Susie into the corner. John Rorson in on him, and again Susie loses the stick, this time the sunglasses as well. And the Alpacas are offside. Goes into the corner, Chris Williams. Alpacas trying to bring it out. They work back for Dayball. Stolen by the Punishers though. Out in front, stick was tied up from Mark Sethsmith. So Kristoff with a couple Punishers right on the doorstep.
He did a good job. He made that look really easy, finding that loose ball. It definitely was had some spin. It was moving, and very confidently just scooped it up.
Credit Justin Dayball as well. He got a nice chip to keep that one deep away from the Punishers, and then when it got down deep, tied up the stick of Mark Sethsmith. Spinning here is Nick Sider. From the point out in front, Brian Zolga, Cal Kristoff didn't see that centering pass come out, and it just bounces off the stick of Zolga.
I don't think that's how you draw those up, but it works. Keith Dale looked to just spin and put it in front. He knew Zolga was there as a big body. He's a big body presence in front of that net, and Zolga had the hand-eye coordination just to bat that in.
We talked about the guys from Niagara, 3 of them of the 5 on this line now.
It's actually 4. Zolga's just wearing his War Pig shorts, but he's in fact an original North Star.
See the green gloves now. But those 4 guys, they've got that chemistry from playing together.
They do. They grew up together in the Niagara Falls playing the outdoor rink there.
And another goal from the Punishers. You called it right off the top. As we watched the Alpacas looking for the answer, and just unable to lift that up was Justin Dykstra. But the Punishers, 2 goals now, both of them not clear direct in from the outside point shot, but started with that point shot, getting it in deep.
They've been avoiding the block shots, getting it deep, and letting their guys go get that ball. They're confident that their forwards are going to win ball battles.
From outside, Guthrie. Ray had to get the glove on it and just went high. Guthrie's going to try a second attempt. Dan Guthrow, pardon me, as Guthrow follows that shot in onto the crease, and Dennis Ray just going to hang on with 2:44 left to play.
Dennis seems to really have calmed down in the first period, the first few minutes there. I wondered if it was the hot floor, but he has sliders on the inside of his pads, and I noticed he was probably sliding a little more than he wanted to on a couple of those shots. He might have been getting himself a little too far out on his angle, but he seems to have calmed it down right now, and he's playing nice and square and strong. When he challenges, he's a big goalie. It's very difficult to beat him.
Quick point shot there from Mike Croto, and he talked about just the calm presence. Kicks out that left pad and pops right up. Dennis Ray on that save right there. They work into the corner. Jesse Barbas coming away with it. Looked like he was going to leave for Mike Schramm. Elects to go up top. Justin Dable. And Mike Barbas almost got stick on that to tip it in front of Ray, but goes into the corner. Zolga there. Zolga up for Keith Dale. Batted out of midair. A bit of a look to the official from Zolga. That play continues as Zolga chases that to the far side.
Might have been a high stick for a shorter guy, but Zolga's height helped him out there.
Down low, here's Keith. And the trailer just shoots it wide. Wide and high up into the cage as Dable has to do some stick handling the other way. Can't from Darian Gilbert. As there's the shot. Croto getting in the shooting lane nicely. This one goes wide. Mike Croto chases it into the corner again. Going to lift it up down in the corner, and Jesse Susi limping off here. He takes his spot on the visitor bench. Chris Wilkes. Again, there's a cutter to the net. Grant Patton. Said these teams starting to feel each other out. I think Punishers have felt, and they're picking their spots now.
You're also seeing the long change at the end of the second period come into play because these, I believe Dable's been out on the floor for a good 2 minutes, maybe even more, and you see he's really feeling it. It's hard as a defenseman to get that change at the end of this period. Let's see if the Punishers can isolate him.
Coming through, there's another outside shot from Wilkes. Off the cage, and the play down low. They win the board battle again behind the net. He comes out in front of Kristoff. And Sexsmith makes it 3-0.
You can see them laboring off. Those guys, there's a long shift for them getting stuck in their defensive zone. That long change, you're looking at the bench and it just seems so far away.
In our rec final, the Broad Street Blazers, they won their way in via forfeit, and the Sarnia Beavers had to play their way in. Again here today, the Punishers get a bye into the final, whereas the Alpacas had to play their way in this heat. Playing that extra game or getting that extra rest has already come into play here this afternoon. Maybe we're seeing it again. Punishers able to keep it on the correct side of the red line for Rorison. As they get it down deep, they change up. Final 15 seconds here of the second period. It's brought in by Grant Patton, 3 on now 2. And nice hustle back by Garrett Russell to even up the numbers. Comes to the near side. Brian Wright in 5 seconds to take the shot. He does, but it's into the legs of John Rorison. And on the near side, they stall it, and time expires, but a big period for the Punishers.
It's an interesting little exchange there between Brian Wright and John Rorison. They're two teammates, a team that used to play together called the Terrace, who traveled all across the province playing as a competitive team. A number of the Punishers actually had played on the Terrace as well. But a little exchange of current foes, but for many years teammates. And oftentimes defensive partners too. The temperature today is about the same as it was yesterday, but yesterday had such a great breeze here that everyone was okay with it. Really was nice and cooling. Today the wind has sort of died down.
Mark Sexsmith with the goal there. He got the second Punishers goal in that round robin loss or win for the Alpacas. Garrett Russell, Chris Williams, and Brian Wrighton were the goal scorers in that game for the Alpacas. So far, the power play goal from Garrett Russell. Power play one from Mike Martin, Brian Zolga, and Mark Sexsmith. Give us 3 for the Punishers. 3-1 score after 2 periods. They'll switch sides one final time here. Cal Kristoff returns the net to our right as that shot goes up over the boards. And Dennis Ray down to our left as we, in the final period here of the Jumpstart Jammer in the adult division and final period of our coverage this afternoon on the JVI Sports Network. Face off to the left of Cal Christoph, Matthew Carrick, and Chad Asseltine in for this final. Christoph tried to glove that out of midair, juggled it slightly before hanging on, and they'll do the face-off again. 17 seconds gone.
The rare backhand catch in hockey. It'll be interesting to see how the Alpacas start this period. This is going to be a big first few minutes. They definitely don't want to give up another, and to get some pressure and some momentum would be huge for them now.
Mike Barbas trying to cut through the middle. It was stolen away by the Punishers. Christoph not sure where that was, so 31 seconds gone a couple times now. Not sure where the ball was for Christoph. After a solid period and maybe period and 3/4, I guess.
Those goaltenders go through a lot of water out here in a day like this, and I'm sure they're shedding a few pounds with water weight being gone, so the game will take its toll on those guys wearing the equipment.
Notice Ray wearing the white jersey as opposed to the black here this afternoon of the Punishers. Probably a smart choice for the goaltender. As Wrighton brings it up for the Alpacas, drops it deep.
I'm going to ask him if he actually thought that through. Now that you say that, that is a good point.
Comes Brian Zolga. Rips one from outside, goes just wide, down into the corner. Brian Wrighton, first man there. He gives for Garrett Russell. They start up the play as everyone holds the line and just chipped away by the Punishers. Jesse Susi, even Chase and Dennis Ray all over that to poke it into the corner. Punishers. Not willing to force the issue here as they just keep it deep. Susi will go into forecheck, as will Justin Dykstra, and now they do bring it up in the last trailer there. Chris Wilkes gets into the corner. He was looking to go straight up the middle as they've scored a couple.
Good back
so
check.
Far on that play. Garrett Russell again. Brian Wrighton, he tries to go through the middle. Justin Dykstra takes it to the side though. And now Dykstra's going to lose it. Grant Patton gets it back for Ryan Chadwick. Chadwick near side, Chris Wilkes. And through the middle, Sexsmith has that chipped away. Another good back check there, this time Mike Barbas.
The defensive game is really kind of it's a big differentiator between the levels of hockey that there is in ball hockey. You'll see great back checking in the intermediate division. The guys don't want to give any time. They close gaps very well. That's really a big separator between the levels, because the skill is there in the other levels, but maybe some of the knowledge and the defensive knowledge isn't.
All over the last 7 days, there's a shot. The mesh rippled, but I guess that was just a stick, as it's not Jesse Barbas. May have had one. It goes to the far side. Grant Patton, out of those 6 divisions, that includes the youth, Pee Wee, Bantam, Midget we saw last week. The amount of chatter that happens on the floor as the levels get higher too.
It gets reduced pretty dramatically. From an anger standpoint, but talking to one another from a strategy standpoint, that takes over. Everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's communicating. Typically, the vocal stuff in some of the other divisions isn't so productive.
Face off just outside the zone here. Punishers still up 3-1, just inside of 7 minutes to play here in the third period. As walking through was Brian Zolga, elected to take the shot and went chest high, coming near side along the near boards. Rich Plant had thoughts of taking it to the net, and as he tried to backhand it out, the paddle of Ray was there. Guthrow and his man came off the boards together. Punishers are going to end up with the ball. Trying to poke chuck of his own was Kristoff and got around, but the backhand unable to connect there. John Rodney. He chips it up for Keith Dale, and it's loose in front of Kristoff again. A good quality shot and ends up in the back of the net.
Mike Martin just won a couple ball battles there. He had a defender all over him. He was able to get the first shot off, find his rebound, and bury the second.
It came after Brian Zolga streaked through the middle and took an outside shot. 4 goals now. All of them started from way out there for the Punishers and winning the board battle down low. So make it 4-1 now, closing in on second half of the third period. Face-off tied in a mess of sticks and legs as Plant works in for it on the boards. Mike Croto's got to give chase here. Gonna play it back in behind his own net. That looked like it took a turn on the floor, and that's a bad hop for Brian Wrighton as it comes in and make it 5-1 for the Punishers.
That was unfortunate. Just a bad bounce off the boards. Nothing any of the Alpacas can do on that.
And you can see that from the Punishers. No big, huge celebration on that goal. If it's a pretty play, I think you may see.
They know they got a bit of a gift on that one.
Face off one and drops down. Dennis Ray steers it to the side. Punishers trying to bring out. Jesse Susie gets the stick on that. Goes up the far boards in front of the Punisher bench. They'll come across the floor. Up the middle, past Nick Sider. Brian Wrighton from the corner goes up for Croto. Croto from outside, unable to glove it, was Dennis Ray. Ended up batting it all the way ahead. Up there for Chris Wilkes. He lets one fly, just misses to the stick side. Off the near boards, Jesse Susie. First man there, Darian Gilbert. And something happened there between Susie and Gilbert as they shove with a couple grins. Don't think there was an initial call until they got up and started shoving. Both benches are kind of talking about that, but
it looked odd. It looked like the fall actually might have been as he got tangled up in Ray at the goalie stick, and I think he thought that it was the offensive player Susie, but it seemed to just be kind of a mash of sticks there, and the big goalkeeper stick might have done the most damage. Actually, I believe that might be a birthday gift. I saw him taping it up earlier. From the parents, he said.
Working pretty good so far.
Seems to be.
Got him to a 5-1 lead here. 5:06 to play now. And there are guys on this Alpaca squad who can finish, but one of the hardest workers we've seen so far on the day has been Jesse Susie, one of the fastest anyways, and he's going to sit for the next little while.
His game is definitely based around his speed.
Walking off the wall, the shot. Kristoff thought he had it, but it bounced wide. Off the stick of Mike Martin, looking for the hat trick here. Goes for Jesse Barbas. Barbas over center. Draws back off the half boards. Goes for Mike Schramm. Schramm lets one rip. That's into the back of Keith Dale. Mike Barbas behind his own net now. And Keith falls. He comes outside the red line. Holding there, Chris Williams. Now gets it over for Schramm. Schramm tries to go through the middle. Keith Dale intercepts. He'll bring it out and to the blue line. Kicks back. Nice little play there by Chris Williams. Get it on the stick of Dayball. Stolen away by Brian Zolga. Zolga back up top off the shaft of the stick of Mike Schramm. As it drops down, Garrett Russell. Through the middle, it's down for Justin Dykstra, who gives chase. Far wing. As Punishers pass around, closing in final 3 minutes now. We go through the middle, Garrett Russell. There's Grant Patton getting called for a hook here on the trail as Garrett Russell tried to flip it around. He was behind on a step and looks like he's called for the hook.
It's the common one that you hear all the time. Is the ref standing right there? That's his call. That's actually not his call. The trail official is the one who's looking at that play, because the near official, it's actually hard to see the stuff that's right at you. Your job is more so to call the goal and anything down low across the floor. The high official is actually looking from the slot to, if it's on the boards, to help his partner on any of those situations, because his partner has to make sure he's safe in that mix of bodies. So, but oftentimes when guys aren't quite sure what the procedures are, you hear them make the assumption.
5-on-4, good opportunity now for the Alpacas. Inside of 3 minutes, though, staring down a 4-goal hill. Mike Schramm all the way back. They go for Croto, back for Schramm again. Schramm will lift it up and hustles into the corner. Play like that is really where they miss Jesse Susi, and they will in this power play with extra room. And he's got to wait for another whistle now to be released on the offsetting minor.
3 forwards that they have out there are also considered speed demons. So, but Susi's given them a lot in this weekend.
Shot off the glove coming off the stick of Mike Schramm. Played in behind the net. That was Mike Schramm. This is Jesse Barbas. Back to play for it, Croto. Barbas back again. Under 2 minutes to go now. Here's Dan Guthrow. Outside, they got one in all alone. And Justin Dykstra, and I think that's whistled offside, and play will come outside the zone.
I do believe Guthrow had zone there, so I think that one might have been missed. I believe that was a good zone, but it happens. I think if it wasn't a 5-1 game, you might hear a little more argument from the Vicious Alpacas at this point, but under 2 minutes on the clock in the third period, 5-1 lead for the Punishers. Just some minor complaints.
Another face-off here coming to the right of Dennis Ray. Clock down to final 90 seconds here. Quick up to the point and good positioning by Ray again. Rich Plant on the ball. Adam Fortin on the point, another save. Susie back on the floor, the wraparound there, and Ray all over that post. As the penalty has expired, Punishers with 5 on the floor. Here's Rich Plant. Up top for Fortin. Back for Plant. They have Susie in front, but stick of the defender was right there. Turned over. Punishers come out. Off the half boards. It's flipped out. And it'll go down the floor. 30 seconds. And I think the Alpacas, you can hear them maybe waving the white flag here. They recognize 4 goals with 20 seconds, maybe a little too much. John Rodney. Steals that away, and the benches will come out for handshakes.
And that's the game.
As the final 10 seconds continue to wind down here, but it'll be a 5-1 score in favor of the Punishers to take the final of the intermediate division. Final thoughts on the tournament or this game, Chad?
You know, the Punishers came out really strong, game 1, and really kind of rode that through. It was for a lot of the players, a lot of the spectators around there, were a little surprised by the Alpacas win earlier today, because there was a lot of talk around the rink that they felt that the Punishers had the strongest roster, and it wasn't so much just that they had the strongest roster, but the roster that also played like a team more so than some of the others, because there were a lot of other strong rosters, but they might not have been guys who've played together that as often as the guys on the Punishers have. So I would have to say that that sort of the team that came in to this tournament as the front runner finished off with the title.
And that is the Punishers. Congratulations to them and the other 2 finalists in both the Barn and the Rec division. You can see all the games on the JVI Sports Network via archive, and visit ballhockeyinternational.ca for the rest of the tournaments. Our director today has been Ryan Harkness, producer and camera operator Gary Morrison. That's our JVI crew. On behalf of them and my partner, Chad Asseltime, I'm Matthew Carrick. Please remember to join us on August the 8th, but until then, we'll talk to you next time.